You've joined a party, reached your seat in the parliamentary chamber and started your work as an MP. But what now? What tools do you use for the most important role of an MP? Oversight. When exercising oversight, Parliament focuses on the following areas: the implementation of laws, sticking to the budget, observance of the Constitution, and the effective management of government departments. Why is oversight so important? The true test of democracy is the extent to which Parliament can ensure that government remains answerable to the people. This can only be done by constant vigilance over the government's actions. Without oversight, there would be no law and order, no basic human rights or freedoms, and no service delivery to live a decent life in South Africa. MPs are there to detect and prevent abuse, to prevent illegal and unconstitutional conduct on the part of the government, to protect the rights and liberties of citizens. Their oversight should ensure that the government is answerable for how taxpayers' money is spent, and to do all of this in the most transparent way possible. So, what are the MP's oversight tools? Number 1, budget votes. How the taxpayers' hard-earned cash is spent, managed well or not. The Minister of Finance announces the budget projections for the next financial year, as well as what each department wants to spend. For example, more on basic education or less on policing. The MPs are then responsible for approving the budget, and it is their role to now make sure that each department spends correctly. They do this using the portfolio committees that have oversight over each department. The second oversight tool is the famous presidential Q&A sessions. The President must appear before Parliament and take the hot seat at least once a quarter. Members of Parliament are then able to question the President, the Deputy President, and ministers on matters for which they take responsibility. It's usually a televised debate and is often viewed by the public as a performance appraisal of our government's top brass. The questions come from the political party and the electorate on concerns of service delivery. The President and ministers must then respond either in written form or orally. The third tool is member statements, where an MP can make a statement in the Assembly on any matter. The fourth oversight tool is a notice of motion, where an MP can bring up any issue for debate in Parliament, getting a problem into the public eye and opening it up for scrutiny. The fifth are plenary debates, where MPs bring important and urgent information to the government regarding specific legislation that's needed to improve service delivery. This was used during the COVID-19 vaccine rollout plan. Lastly, constituency work is the greatest opportunity for MPs to conduct individual oversight. MPs work in Parliament when it's in session, and then in their constituency for the other 4.5 months. During this time, they should be in the community where they can correctly identify issues that they must bring to Parliament. They have a duty to be available to the public, help solve problems, and report back to their constituents on what's happening in Parliament. MPs get a monthly allowance to use for this purpose. Criticism of MPs is mostly around the lack of presence in communities during Parliament's downtime. If you want to reach your constituency MP, contact the political party that they represent. So let's recap the 6 oversight tools that MPs can use: budget vote and monitoring, presidential and ministerial Q&A sessions, member statements, notice of motions, plenary debates, and lastly, hands-on constituency work.